My girlfriend cheated on me, again, with a guy in our apartment building. Hi, welcome to my channel. Today, we've got a story from our /relationship_advice where Op's girlfriend cheated on him with a guy in their apartment building. Before we start, if you have any personal stories of how you got out of a toxic relationship with your cheating wife or girlfriend that you want to share, feel free to email them to me. Let's get started. Original story. Sorry if this is a long post, or if this is in the wrong place, but there's a lot of backstory, more than I've already written, and I usually never post, but I need to share it somewhere since I feel like I can't tell anybody. Me, 24M, and my partner, 21F, recently got a place together and had a small celebration. We had gone out for food and decided to get a couple of drinks afterward. I had work in the morning and had made clear that I needed to leave by midnight at the latest, but since we'd met a couple of people on the night out, she didn't have to come back with me since I assumed she'd be safe. By midnight, we'd both had a few drinks, but I'd stopped as I needed to be able to drive in the morning. She wanted to continue drinking, and had almost drunk double what I had. For reference, she can drink me under the table 3 times over, and seemed completely fine, and was chatting and dancing with the girls in a group of friends we'd made that night. One of our friends from our apartment building, I'll call him Harry for clarity, was coming out to meet her too, so I knew she'd have no issue coming home since she wouldn't be walking alone. I said goodbye to the group we were with, and we agreed to text each other our whereabouts just so both of us knew the other was safe or if plans changed. As I was heading back, I saw Harry, we talked for a minute and I carried on. On getting back to the apartment, I text my partner as agreed, letting her know I'm home, and she messages me back saying she's happy, etc. I let her know I'm probably going straight to sleep, as I need to be up at 7 a.m. to get ready for work. She texts back telling me she loves me, etc., and I go to sleep. Q4 a.m., I hear someone trying to get into the apartment. I'm half awake at this point as I assume it's her, but I know she's okay, when all of a sudden, I hear her shushing someone in the hallway. Assuming this to be Harry, I just assume she's trying to get him to be quiet since she knows I'm sleeping. A few minutes later, she bursts into the room, stumbling over clothes she left on the floor while getting ready, and falling onto the edge of the bed. She starts talking about how she had a great night, before exclaiming shit. Dropping her phone, and then proceeding to crawl out of the bedroom. Being fully awake now, I get dressed and head to the living room where she's slumped over the sofa, babbling to herself. I check if she's okay and she starts telling me how she's been trying to act as if she's my age, trying to be more mature for me, but she's struggling because she's only 21, and continues to say I don't deserve you, you're too good for me, etc., which struck me as odd since she's never mentioned this before. She also mentions that Harry had made sure she didn't make a fool of herself and helped her home as she had drunk too much, which is unusual for her. This is relevant later. I reassure her, we talk for a bit and I head back to bed, but I have a gut feeling since the last time she was talking like this, she'd ended up cheating on me with a mutual friend while drunk. She comes to the bedroom about 10 minutes later and starts telling me she thinks she has autism or ADHD, as she struggles to read social situations, i.e., when she's flirting, being flirted with, and dissociates a lot, among other things. I'm not entirely knowledgeable about mental health issues, so I'm not an expert on symptoms of ADHD or autism, but she hasn't been diagnosed and is scared to go to a doctor to be diagnosed. She leaves a few minutes later and I go back to sleep. I woke up the next morning and went to check on her since we have 2 bedrooms and she didn't want to disturb me. Found her sprawled on the bed in the spare room. She was breathing and seemed to be okay, so I set out about getting ready. However, I still have the gut feeling from the night before, and something just doesn't sit right with me. I open up Snapchat and see she's posted a story of her and a guy I didn't recognize dancing. I am aware people can dance as friends, but this was 2 people with arms around each other and faces a few inches apart. I was curious, so I text our mutual friend, Harry, who met up with her, about what had happened. However, while I still don't know what happened with the guy she was dancing with, Harry immediately apologizes to me. At some point, either on the walk home or in the club, she and Harry were dancing and ended up kissing. He tells me he feels awful and it wasn't worth it, and for what it's worth it won't happen again, but he understands if I don't trust him again. Further to this, he sends me screenshots of messages she sent him after she got home, of them having a casual conversation and then her saying to him, "I want to kiss you again," to which he replies, "Stop it." She mentions that she knows and that she can't do it again because of me, whether that means because I'm home or because she suddenly feels guilty, I have no idea. Finding this out, I immediately confronted her. I did wake her up and told her that I know she kissed Harry last night. Her response, and I shit you not, was, "Oh God, I know. It wasn't even that good either," and I lose my shit a little bit. I tell her we're done and she's screwed the relationship for the final time. I'll provide more backstory on the other time she cheated on me at the end. She says it was the heat of the moment, he came on to her, she immediately regretted it, blah, 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 but I tell her I've seen the conversation she had with Harry about telling him she wanted to kiss him again. I also reference the Snapchat of her dancing with the guy on her story, which she quickly deleted. She barely responds and ends up going back to sleep. I tell her that shows how little she cares about what she's done, and I end up going to work as I'm already late as it is. A few hours later, she messages me saying she's not sure if there's anything left for her to say about what happened, but it still happened and she's sorry. I'll admit, I threw the apology back in her face, referencing things she said the night before about the guy she kissed helping her home, how she messaged him while talking to me telling him that she wanted to kiss him again, and how this is exactly how she reacted when I'd caught her out cheating previously, to which her response was okay. I leave it for a few hours as I'm working until she texts me again saying I bought you a McDonald's. I respond by telling her I'm done and I'm moving out. She continues to tell me I don't need to move out because she doesn't want me to. I'm a petty bastard and tell her oh okay, I've changed my mind. You and Harry kissing and telling him you want to kiss him again is fine now. A lot of conversation occurs, mostly me being pissed since this isn't the first time she cheated, her telling me she can fix it, me telling her I have no trust in her anymore and her responding with it's only happened twice though. Later, she messages me telling me that although she didn't want to mention it, her friend told her she should kiss Harry. She said she was spiked by the guy she was dancing with, who was buying her drinks after I left, as she'd only bought one more drink since I left before the guy started buying her drinks. I ask her if she knows for certain if she was spiked, and she tells me she doesn't remember anything after having the drink and went from being tipsy to blackout drunk, and walking home not being able to walk properly, around the time she kissed Harry, which is confirmed to have been her making an advance on him. I tell her she needs to get a drugs test or talk to the police or whatever the process is after being spiked, as anything could have happened, and if she doesn't remember she needs to check she hasn't been sexually assaulted. However, she tells me she won't bother because it's not worth the hassle. I'm annoyed, although possibly not rightly so, since she seems so uncaring about the situation, which if true means she was spiked and anything could have happened to her, and if untrue means she's trying to make excuses for her cheating on me. Note this isn't a case of not believing her as a victim, but more that she's given excuses like this before for getting too drunk and doing stupid things and she's confessed to being untrue. If it is true then I agree I've been an asshole, and I do everything to make sure she gets help. She turns the situation on me telling me it's her body and she can do what she wants, which is true and I'd never tell her to do otherwise, but I feel like in the case of sexual assault and being spiked I'd want the person who had done that to me to face some sort of repercussion. I know the number of victims reporting sexual assault is low. Along with the stigma and the issues with reporting sexual assault, I can understand why women don't report sexual assault. The system is stacked against sexual assault victims. It is insane. I got home from work and told her I'd be looking for a new place at the start of the week, but until then I've split up our stuff into 2 rooms so we have our own space for the time being. She responds over and over telling me she loves me and she wants to fix it, but apart from going down the route of helping her get a test after being spiked and all, I can't trust her anymore since she's cheated on me again. So currently waiting to look at new apartments and I've split up our stuff so we have as little contact time as possible. Maybe I'm being an asshole, but having been cheated on twice in the last 4 months by the same girl and giving her the benefit of the doubt the first time and having only just got to a place where trust was being rebuilt after the last time she cheated, I feel the relationship is irredeemable, no matter how much I love her and she supposedly loves me. What happened the first time? I found out my partner had texted a guy we knew asking him if he wanted a relationship or just a shag. I don't care which. After we'd argued because she was drunk and had been flirting with this guy all night while we're on our mutual friend's bachelor's party. She then proceeded to meet up with him and his friends. The only reason he didn't reciprocate is that he was on an acid trip and barely knew she was there but freely admitted if he wasn't out of it he would have slept with her. 2 days later, he sends me screenshots of the messages she sent him, with the context of what had happened that night she met, backed up by a mutual friend of ours. I confronted her and she said she didn't remember it happening. However, the night it happened, she made her way back to my place and mentioned that I wouldn't be able to trust her and she was sorry, but not mentioning why. She'd also deleted the messages she sent, and she showed me her DMs on Instagram as proof that she hadn't seen them. However, I had screenshots of the messages which filled in a gap between casual conversation they'd had. On top of this, she was with a guy when we started dating, that I didn't know about. She was cheating on someone with me while pretending to be single. I ended up telling him what had happened, as I'd want to know the same. He dumped her and she moved on with me. The sex was great, so I kept it going. She told me she loved me within 2 months. I told her I wasn't at that point or ready to tell her that. She responded by breaking up with me on Christmas Eve and starting dating one of our other mutual friends within a week. After a month, she told him she loved him. Ended up breaking up with him because she realized she only did it as a rebound and was actually in love with me. She did take his virginity though. I don't know if that's too much context. She ran back to me. Apologized and everything. However, again there was an overlap as I didn't know she hadn't broken up with him when we'd started seeing each other again, at which point I told her if she didn't tell him I will. I ended up telling him. He dumped her. So did I. Forward a couple of months, we met again, she begged for one more chance at us, said she'd do anything to gain my trust again. She made me believe she changed and I ended up making the biggest mistake of my life by giving her another shot, and she ended up using that to hurt me way more than she did the first time around. Before we take a look at some replies by other Redditors, take a moment to like the video to show your support to the channel. Don't forget to leave your own opinion on the story in the comments down below. Now let's look at some comments. Mad Kitty 532 wrote. Ditch her. She is unconcerned with how you feel and is taking no accountability. She doesn't deserve more chances. Leave her ass on the curb and let her find her way. Cheating is never excusable. Tell her that she is no longer allowed in your life and she can find anyone who will take her since she's so happy to try to find other men. Ready_Taro_9540 wrote. She sounds like she has problems with drinking, lying, empathy, and taking responsibility for her actions. I'm also going to assume she wasn't drugged if she won't get tested and doesn't seem to care she was drugged, and also managed to text someone reminding them of their kiss despite not remembering. Sounds like loads of horse shit. Shiki Buggery wrote. She's a sloppy drunk and a liar. She doesn't respect you or your relationship. Leaving her is the right choice. She's not ready to be in a serious relationship. Not sure what you were looking for here. You've stated yourself that the relationship isn't salvageable. It sounds like she has some soul searching / figuring her life out to do. Night Dreamer 87 wrote. She is toxic between the drinking and the drugs. If you continue with her, then this is what your relationship will be like. It was built on lies on her end, and is continuing to do it. Your foundation has so many cracks in it that it's starting to crumble. Hold your ground. If you stay with her, she will possibly do something that will have a ripple effect, not only on her but you. Ultimately bringing you down in some way. Get rid of her, process, and heal. Then move forward. She will hop on some other dude the week you more. Look back, it's all patterns, so you'll be able to predict what will happen next. That's not a good thing. Again, she brings nothing to the table but toxicity. Skyscan1 wrote. The best indicator for how someone will behave and act in the future is how they have behaved and acted in the past. Her past shows that she desires attention from multiple males to validate her feelings of worth. She also seems to abuse alcohol and drugs often. She also doesn't take responsibility for her actions, rather she acts like a victim. Also, she seems to enjoy drama. Which one of these red flags is enough? One is very bad, but she has them all. What do you think about all of this? Do you think Op handled this situation the right way? Do you have any advice for Op on how he should move forward? Let us know in the comments down below. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this. Hit the notification bell to make sure you never miss an upload.